often hear that business and sustainable development are and should be on the opposite sides. After all, business is all about making profits, not about saving the world or preserving the environment. At the same time, environmentalists and community activists are telling us that catastrophes are just behind the door. Near future will bring pollution, it will bring diseases in our communities, and it will bring unhealthy society. So what are we to do? I came to Winnipeg during the flood of the century to make business more involved in sustainable development. I had no idea how to do it, but the job paid well. At the time, I did not believe that business should do anything about sustainable development, and I was honest during my interview. I said so. That has in part gotten me the job. My boss and lifelong mentor believed that honesty is more important than conviction. She also believed that the argument for business involvement in sustainable development is so compelling that I will see why it is important if I keep an open mind. Today I'm here to share my story with you, and all I would like to do is ask you to keep an open mind. So should we be looking at business this way? Should business be involved in sustainable development or not? I would like to ask you to raise your hand if you believe that business should lead us into a better future. Wow, this is a TED audience. In most cases, not many people believe so. However, there is a very strong argument for business involvement. We simply cannot ignore it. Why? Let's look at the numbers. In Canada only, we have somewhat more than 20 million people working. Out of those 20 million people, 14 million people work in the private sector and 6 million people in non-for-profits, NGOs, public sector, and volunteer positions combined. Out of 14 million people who are in the private sector, somewhat more than 10 million are in small and medium-sized enterprises. There are, in fact, more people in small and medium-sized enterprises than in large business, NGOs, public sector, non-for-profits, and volunteer positions combined. Thus, that makes it a strong case for business involvement into any action that has to be done at the global scale. So, if we cannot ignore business, are there any businesses that are actually doing something that is good for society and good for the environment? More than 500 students at my college, together with the business leaders, community leaders, and academics, have actually launched the research to determine exactly that. Are there any small and medium-sized enterprises in this world that are actually committed to society and committed to environment? It would be simply difficult to imagine that all these people working in the private sector are against their communities and that they actually really want to make our environment unhealthy. So what did we start researching? We were looking for business models that are actually developed in such a way to address social challenges. Instead of going for a complex set of criteria developed by experts, we have settled with 3 very simple criteria. For a business to qualify as socially innovative, it should develop products and services that are directly associated with the resolution of an identified social challenge. The business should have less than 500 employees, it should be profitable, and it should be eco-friendly. At first, we thought it would be very difficult to find such businesses, so we were wondering, should we include non-for-profits or maybe social enterprises? However, once the research started, we looked first globally, and we found that socially innovative businesses that are in fact profitable are everywhere. In Ghana, in Nigeria, in Singapore, in Canada, in the United States, all over Europe, all over Latin America, all over Asia. Then we came home to Winnipeg in our thoughts, and we looked for socially innovative entrepreneurs here. We found them here too. And finally, our students, inspired by all the examples that they have seen, have been challenged to develop their own business ideas using the concept called Jugaad. Jugaad is a concept that comes from India, which basically says doing more with less. So our students had to use inspiration that they have found in research to develop their own business model, their own business plan that can be implemented with less than $500. So let me share some of the research results with you. What did we find out? Some of the examples from different countries include the following. An innovative company from Philippines that has addressed a social challenge associated with the time to do homework in areas out of grid. Children could not do the homework without light. The company has developed a technology that allows people to take 1 cup of water from the sea, put it in a lamp, and generate electricity and light needed to actually give children enough time, 5 hours at least, that they could be working on their homeworks. Moving to China, we found a company that has developed green walls that you can put inside your apartment or outside of it to purify the air and reduce the risk of asthma in very polluted areas in Chinese cities. In Sweden, we found fashion designers who have developed an inflatable helmet that is actually protecting brain from injury better than the classical bike helmet, but can be stashed underneath the collar of your coat during the day, inflated when you go home from work, and actually you come safe and fashionable to your house. In Nigeria, we found plantain growers who combine traditional medicine with genetic engineering to develop cure for diabetes derived from the plantain plant. In Colombia, they are using recyclable materials in order to provide housing to poor people. And here in Canada, we found a veggie lover who rents backyards and unused land to grow vegetables and to bring healthy food to Manitobans. Further at home, we were amazed to how many businesses are actually socially innovative. In the north, we found a company that harvests the needles and the herbs from boreal forest, uses indigenous medicine to bring healthy teas to the coffee shops in Winnipeg. Further down, we found an app developer who is actually using software to teach indigenous languages to children. Then we have found an innovative waste management company that uses software as a service to reduce waste across North America. Then we found a coffee shop that provides healthy board game entertainment to our teenagers who are otherwise on social media. And finally, we have found a company that leases the equipment to new businesses so that they can actually start their own Jugaad innovation. We also found a company that is using environmentally friendly product to reduce dust on our roads, and even a Hutterite farm that has found a way to use chicken feathers and eggshells to create a solution that would reduce radon poisoning in our basement. In fact, once we have started looking, we found that the marvelous solutions exist everywhere, in Canada and outside. One thing that unifies all of those solutions, they are simple, like this slide. So most of our entrepreneurs come from different gender groups, different backgrounds, different disciplines. They share several common characteristics, however. Most of them, if not all, have an open mind. They are creative and have a can-do attitude, and they also have the joie de vivre, joy of life, in the fact that they are doing something to make their communities healthier and better. We have finished our research by building a very compelling evidence that small and medium-sized enterprises are in fact already changing the world. While many of us are talking the talk, small and medium-sized businesses, entrepreneurs all around the world are walking the walk. So instead of all of us being sad and worried and concerned about the future, I would like to challenge you to go into your neighborhoods, look into the businesses that you believe are doing something that is good for society, that is good for the environment, and that is good for the economy. Learn about their business model. See how are they actually earning money. Talk about it. Connect with us. Tell us about it. And join us in an effort to together make this world a better place for all of us. Thank you.